I wish.
All right, welcome to the premiere of #ShiftEd. Today is February 2nd, 2016. Welcome to ShiftEd, the premiere. It's our first time doing this, and we have a sponsor.
Dani, where do you go for all your education and conference needs?
Obviously, the education calendar. Adam, what's the education calendar? Can you explain that?
Sure. The education calendar, or #TheEducal, is a crowdsourced map and calendar of education events worldwide. Find events in your area, search for where you live, add events that you want to promote. There are over 150 upcoming education events around the world. TheEducationCalendar.com. Mr. Nesi has so conveniently dropped it into this chat for you. Go click it right now.
Right now.
Do it.
Big thank you to
Thank you,
our
Melissa.
sponsor,
Sorry.
calendar. That's okay. So again, welcome to ShiftEd. Let's meet who we are. Dani, go ahead.
Sure. So I am Dani Kennis. You can find me on Twitter at KennisDani or on my blog at DaniKennis.com. I'm a high school special ed social studies teacher and the co-creator of the education calendar. Adam, you're up.
All right, I'm Adam Schoenbart. Thank you guys for joining us in this the start of our show. It's coming together. I am a high school English teacher in New York and a instructional technology coach. Mr. Bianco.
I was going to say, you're supposed to kick it over to me now, right?
Mr. Bianco, will you introduce yourself, please?
I'm AJ Bianco. I'm a 7th and 8th grade social studies teacher in Harrington Park, New Jersey. And I'm very excited that we can get this show on the road. This is awesome. This chat is going to be phenomenal. Looking forward to everybody jumping in and having a say.
Nice. It's going to be great. My name is Chris Nesi. I'm a high school teacher here in New Jersey, and I host the House of EdTech podcast on my website, chrisnesi.com, and you can connect with me on Twitter. I am Mr. Nesi.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I'm AJ Bianco, at AJ Bianco, at ajbianco.me. It's been a long day, everybody.
So this is obviously my first blab ever, but this is our first episode of our first time doing ShiftEd. So we want to get the word out there. So if you guys click on the Twitter button and share with people that you know so that we can hopefully get everyone in all of our PLNs in on the conversation, that would be awesome. And feel free to ask questions at any time because we really want you guys to be involved and kind of help us to shape and shift the conversation.
I like that, using the word shift. That was clever. And it's very cool on Blab that we can see who's pressing the Twitter button. I like that. I just pressed
Yeah.
That is cool. You know, I'm going to step out for a second because there is somebody else that should introduce themselves. So I'm going to step out, and I want Stacey. I want you to drop in right now. So I'm stepping out, and somebody else can jump in here. Another moderator.
While we're waiting for Stacey to hop in, what we're going to be doing is introducing what ShiftEd is, and then we're going to get some audience participation to keep this conversation going. And now, stepping up to the microphone, our ShiftEd compañera, this is radio, we'd all be fired right now.
Definitely. We're lucky we're able to do whatever we want on the internet.
Yeah.
Chris,
While we're waiting for...
Part of me feels like you should have like Voxer playback of like everyone's voice with like in case any of our connections crap out. I just expect Chris to be able to hit a button and all of a sudden we hear Stacey's voice. But now we have a real
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can see you.
Oh, good. My husband just yelled that he can hear me too.
So, Stacey, do you want to introduce yourself real quick, and then we can get into what ShiftEd is?
I missed your question, Dani, but I'm going to assume that you asked me to introduce
yes.
myself. Is that right? Fantastic. My name is Stacey Lindes. I am a teacher resource specialist for technology, which is just a really long title to say that I'm a tech coach / integrator. in a 4.5 Google Apps for Education school. In a 4.5 Google App for Education school. And is that all I need to say?
Yeah, you got it.
I haven't taken any drugs yet, but I'm like going to be on them soon.
All right, so let's move into what is Shift Ed. So we're kind of going to do a little around the horn and share a little bit about what Shift Ed is to each of us. So I'll start with that. Shift Ed, to me, is about moving the conversations that we have on Twitter and in person, face-to-face at conferences, to more of a positive, productive conversation about what changes we can make in our schools, what tangible small steps we can take towards shifting education to not so much a complaining negative conversation, but to a positive place where we can impact positively all the other people around us to contribute to making that change.
All right, I guess I'll jump in there next. I like it, Dani.
Sorry, forgot to kick it off to you.
Yeah, I like this. So we're gonna have to pass it on every time. I'm a fan.
Yep.
So one of the things that brought this idea about was a conversation I've been having at work, developing professional development for teachers. A lot of my job involves technology, but not all of it. And so we were discussing how we want to get teachers using technology to change the way our students are learning and add more meaningful and purposeful technology to the classroom. When a friend made a comment to me, but wait, shouldn't we be doing more than technology? Because there's more to it. There's more to shifting the way we teach and 21st century skills and all these great things than just technology. And it was this moment where I was like, duh, right? I know this, we know this, but it's a hard thing to do, and kind of led us to these conversations of, well, how do we make these changes to prepare our students to and get them to where we want to be with and without technology? And how do we shift education and culture in our classrooms? I'll pass it on to you, Stacey.
Fantastic. So I've been in my position now this is my 4th year, and part of what I do is really try to bring about change in the classroom involving technology. And I remember early on in this position, my thinking was they don't know what they don't know. And while I still believe that, I am growing tired of that answer. I feel like people throw their hands up and they say, well, I don't know what I don't know. And I think that that's really becoming an unacceptable answer. And I think that part of my position is really going to be to kind of broadcast the things that are going on in classrooms so that we can bring about the shift that, I really want to see, teachers taking risks, teachers trying things with students without having all of the answers, and just kind of going about, not knowing everything and showing their kids that they're learning with them and not necessarily having all of the answers before they try something new.
For me, Shift Ed is, and I think it echoes a lot of what we've been saying, is about moving forward. A lot of what we talk about, the conversations that we have, some of it just seems so fake positive, like it's not real. Some of the conversations and chats that we're having on Twitter or in other platforms, it's like the same old. So it's about what can we do that's actionable, that's realistic, and can actually change the conversation and really make an impact in our profession, aside from tweeting about Genius Hour or whatever project. Not that there's anything wrong with Genius Hour. Adam, I know you're a big fan. I'm also a fan, but it's more than just spouting and touting and patting ourselves on the back. What are the questions we can ask that have easy answers in a positive way? And it's all about shifting forward.
And also, just to add, I like a lot everything you were saying there, Chris. And then one of the other ways I've been thinking about it is, well, a lot of these conversations are things that we all do, or we know we're connected educators. If you're here on Blab and Twitter with us, you probably have some exposure to these kind of ideas. Now, how do we continue the conversation beyond our kind of connected PLNs and really try to make a bigger change?
I like that point a lot, Adam. I think that's important. And so a big part of this for us is, aside from what can we do to get people involved, what I I don't want to call it homework, but what task or what takeaway can we give to people that are listening so that they can implement it and start making that change? So at the end of every blab that we do, we'll have some kind of task for everyone to participate in. And then we'll hopefully come back next week and kind of use that as a jumping off point to talk about what changes we made in the small steps that we've all taken towards making those changes.
Welcome back, AJ. So I think if anyone wants to jump into that extra seat here and join in on the conversation, we're going to try to get people cycling in and out. That one of the things that we really liked in our kind of brainstorm here is the few of us kind of started throwing the ideas out there, but I always tell my students, all of us are smarter than one of us, and we want to hear from you guys. Love that we have a bunch of viewers and the sidebar going on, but feel free to jump on into the conversation too, because we want to hear what you think.
Yeah, this is about you guys. This is about the shift that you want to see. So please come and talk a little bit. Well, we got people here. Who's brave enough to talk about the shift they want to see? Come on, get in there.
All right, so yeah, AJ, why don't you give us your your perspective on shift ed and your motivations here?
I don't even know where to start. I was listening to you guys. I think we're all kind of on the same page, just being connected. We hear so many stories about schools that are, way behind and not progressive enough. And I think being connected educators, we see that change that's needed, and we need to be the ones to facilitate that change in schools and make things happen around us. I know the school that I'm at is a little bit slow going, but hopefully I'll start leading some PD or start showing them what you can do in the classroom, and the shift takes place there. It's all about the kids, and I've noticed that lately. It's about teaching them and helping them succeed and working with them and promoting their thought process, and not just teaching because we have to teach to a test or to anything else that goes on in Jersey. But it's about our students and our students' success. That's the shift for me. Start there.
Okay. All right, bring it back to the students. I think that's something we often kind of, not that anyone forgets about, but it's often, there's so much going on and so many pressures in education that it's important to remember, like, our end game should always be the students. And I think for most of us is, but it's important to kind of put that in perspective.
Yeah, and I think for me, a big part of this is kind of breaking it down into those smaller steps and kind of thinking about what we can do on a day-to-day basis to move change forward. So we're going to kind of move into what we are hoping to shift, and then there is, if anyone wants to grab it and talk about what you guys are looking forward to shifting. So Adam, do you want to kick us off on what you're hoping to shift, and then we can kind of continue?
Sure. Yeah, and I just threw that out. I tried the question feature for the first time and threw that question out to you guys too. Again, we have that open seat, so anyone wants to jump in, feel free. And there's some questions, there's some responses on the chat. Jump in here, hit the tweet button, and share what we're talking about. For me, one of the things that, very recently, just this week, I've spent most of my year so far developing a new curriculum for a program in my school that we just launched. And it was scary because it just launched, and it went from being my baby, where me and a few colleagues really worked on it, and then all of a sudden it's out there to the world. And I had a few colleagues who were kind of resistant to that and to technology that incorporated with it, where we built it all purposefully using technology. That you have to learn Google Classroom to use to really integrate the curriculum well, and it helps promote technology integration and so a lot of the skills that I use in my classroom and we're looking to use throughout the school. And so I've been working with a lot of teachers this week on that. And just today I had a couple teachers who really, 2 days, yesterday, Friday, weren't really embracing it and were fairly resistant to it. And then they worked on it for a couple days, and I walked in today to check on it, and a guy looked at me who's on the verge of retirement, has told us he'll never touch technology, looked at me, and I walked in, I was like, "You guys okay?" He goes, "Yeah, we're good. Why wouldn't we be?" I looked at him, I was like, "What?" And it kind of like made me realize the impact of really those personal connections with people and not giving up on. There are people you think like, oh, well, they're stubborn, they're not going to make the change, or they're not open to new ideas, but really realizing you don't fully understand where everyone's coming from, and you really can affect more than you think you might at first glance. So that was kind of my shift ed sort of achievement or challenge this week that kind of is going to push me forward. Stacey, you're next in line.
Okay. So I agree with you, Adam. Because so this week, and actually the last few weeks, I've been working on this app with my teachers, and it's been a year-long process. But yesterday I had a teacher who has been really shy with the app. She's not really someone who's out there kind of making things happen. And I'm seeing, a lot of teachers just kind of taking that risk. And I walked into her class yesterday for something totally unrelated. And the first thing she said to me after she said, we figured out that I couldn't help her with her problem. She said, "You'd be so proud of me." And like that right there, her enthusiasm and the pride that she felt in herself was my shift. And it's the shift that I'm seeing in a lot of teachers. This app is really bringing people out of their comfort zone because they're trying. It's called Confer, and they're trying to take conferencing notes in reading and writing and math in a digital way using an iPad. And it's something like some people have never touched an iPad, and so like that was a big shift for them. And just, some of them are like, well, I tried this. And just like those little bits of pride and that sense of accomplishment has been really powerful. And just that's we talk about edu-wins at the end of each week as our group, and it's just kind of nice to have that. That's my edu-win for the week already, and it already happened yesterday on Monday. So I see we have a guest. Hello, Jill.
Hey, Jill.
Hi.
Welcome.
Yay!
Our first ever guest.
Jill, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so I'm a director of curriculum for a PK through 12 district within central New Jersey, loving and living life at the beach.
Nice.
So
that's amazing.
Thanks. What I wanted to just kind of share, and jumping in here for my first time ever, I have to say, thanks, Mr. Nesi, for the push, is to say that one of the things that I've done as a district leader is to incorporate coding into the curriculum for K-5. And my 4 elementary tech teachers and I came together, and it's taken probably about 2 years to develop. And we wrote a whole unit of coding for our students to be able to experience the different various, programs that are out there and what coding is and how to code. And it's now taken on a life of its own, where that I now have parents coming up to me and saying, what is this coding stuff that my kid is doing in school? And what are they talking about with HTML and Java and binary code? And it's really exciting because, the Code of Hour has really supported us this year and really brought kind of the mainstream with Star Wars and the Angry Birds and all of that type of stuff into their programs, which we're allowed to access. And it really has been very exciting to hear our kids in 4th and 5th grade talk about JavaScript.
That's so cool, Jill. I got to say, coding is like, that kind of coding is one of my blind spots, and this year I participated in the Hour of Code with my students, and we did exactly that, the Star Wars coding games and the Hour of Code tutorials, and it was phenomenal. And one of the things that I didn't know is many of them jumped right into it, and I was like, oh, you guys know what you're doing? And a lot of them, my school happens to have a really good middle school coding curriculum, and I wasn't aware of this. I'm in the high school, and they had so much knowledge from 7th and 8th grade that they bought right into the 3-4 years later, they jumped right back into it, some of them, and it was so cool. I think that's awesome.
It is. And, I'm fortunate enough in my position where now I can have that vertical articulation so that they are going to be coming up and having that experience and really excited about it and energized with it. And, it's exciting. We have coders of the week, and the kids are very excited to share their experiences. And what's exciting is that they're now taking that home and then bringing it into their homes and having those conversations and those experiences with their families also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It's something that can definitely extend outside of any curriculum. I'm in English, high school English, and I didn't have any idea how to connect it. And a couple of the teachers who do a lot of coding jumped right in and gave me all these great ideas. It was awesome.
Great. Good to hear.
Yeah, that's an amazing and really empowering experience for any student to have. I remember last year we had this showcase, this ed tech showcase, and there were kids in kindergarten and first grade and second grade that were coding, and me and a few of the parents were standing behind them, and the kids were showing us how to do it, and I was like blown away by how much they knew and how well they really understood it and just how passionate they were about it.
All right, welcome, Dan. Why don't you introduce yourself and jump right into the conversation?
Yeah, I'm glad I actually was able to get on now. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm coming in good. The app crashed on me the first time. So. I'm Dan Gallagher. I'm a technology coach in a school district in New Jersey with Stacey Lindes. I think the shift I'm looking for is to stop getting teachers to ask me, what do I click on? Where do I click next? So we have a PD day coming up on Monday. And for my sessions, I want to talk as little as possible. One of my sessions is talking about creating and collaborating. And I'm basically going to show them briefly what the platform is going to be for their creation. They're going to create a thing link. I'm going to tell them different ways that they can add items like images and videos, and talk about, finding versus creating their own. And then I'm releasing them for the next hour and not going to tell them where to click or what to click on or how to do it. It's going to be, they have to step up and be a little self-directed and really take on the challenge of what they want their kids to do every day in the classroom.
That's great. I think one of the things
that's an awesome goal to have, is building that independence. And that's something that I think everyone that's a leader definitely struggles with at some point, in trying to figure out how to scaffold and how to reach that goal of everyone ultimately being independent. So I think that's an awesome goal. Adam, sorry, I know I cut you off. What were you going to say?
What was I going to say? Oh, I was going to say, we often hear the line that teachers don't get PD on how to use Facebook or how to use their iPhones and things like that. And I think that a lot of our PD culture is very much built on this hand-holding. And it amazes me how often we ignore the principles of best practice of teaching in when we think about professional development. So I think it's a great idea to kind of take that step back and really let the teachers fend for themselves to some degree, because when we have to build our own knowledge, as we all know as teachers, it becomes more real and meaningful.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a great point. I know both of you, Adam and Dan, you had both mentioned a little bit about fostering positive relationships and about culture. And I know for me, I work in a school, personally, that is not as progressive as I would like it to be. A few weeks ago, Adam and I saw the Most Likely to Succeed documentary, and that got me thinking about everything that I do so differently, and kind of just the importance of focusing on building skills in students rather than pushing out content, and individualizing and really, really focusing on building those positive relationships with students. And for me, I'm trying to focus on building those relationships and shifting my classroom culture towards moving to really embrace those kids, those difficult kids that a lot of people have trouble with. And for whatever reason, I find that for me, that's something that I love doing, something that I'm good at doing. So that's kind of one shift that I'm trying to make. And it's made a huge difference in the culture of my classroom. And I've noticed that the kids are happier. They're so much more confident. I don't get nearly as many complaints as a lot of other teachers get about behavior. And so that's something that I found has been a huge change. So I'm, again, kind of still working on that shift. But for me, that's something that's been going really well so far.
I like
Dani, that really
you said
Go ahead, Dan.
Stacey, go ahead.
Dani, that's really part of it. I mean, we're talking about how we really need to teach our kids how to learn, right? It's not just, I'm teaching them all of these social studies facts, or I'm teaching them math algorithms, but like, how do we go about learning? And I think part of our responsibility, mine and Dan's, is to teach teachers how to learn as well. Sometimes it's as simple as, a Google search, right? We joke around that a lot of times something as simple as let me Google that for you could be the answer, right? How do I take a screenshot of my computer is something that you don't really need me to teach you, but I can certainly show you where to find that information so that you don't need me to answer that question the next time you're looking for it, or the next time you're looking for something as simply answered as something like that. And I think we also need to teach our kids the same information.
Yeah, I think those
Exactly.
are great points. Sorry, Dan, go ahead.
That's right. Stacey's probably heard this plenty of times, but we've got this phrase going in our district that a lot of the times the PD sessions, the teachers just sit down. It's like a sardine can. They open up the top of their head and they just want everything dumped into them, and they don't want to have to do any work. And I think that's where the real shift has to happen. We want our students to be doing all the work in the classroom, and yet our teachers just want to sit back and not have to do any work when it comes to their own learning. A lot of times, the old question that was asked by a professor of mine in college was, at the end of the day, you want to be able to say, who worked harder, you or the students? And a lot of times it's the teachers that are working harder. And it's, when it comes to their PD, it's the presenters who are working harder. And I think that needs to change. So I'm going to pop out so someone else can take my spot. Thank you for letting me join in.
Thanks for coming, Dan.
Thanks, Dan. I think we've got Adam coming back in here, but we've had some. Oh, hey, Ad.
Hey.
Do you have anything to add before we kind of wrap up?
I was just going to jump on what Dan was saying, which I agree with, and I think one of the lines I like to use is technology should help us work smarter, not harder. It's not necessarily taking away the work, but it's helping us transform the way that we do the work to have more of a meaningful impact, both on making things easier for ourselves and also for changing the way we teach and that our students are learning. So I like all the ideas we've been talking about here, and I think there's meaningful things that we take from there to put a positive spin on whatever we're all doing in the next week or two in our classrooms.
Yeah, so speaking of the next week or two in our classrooms, like I said, we wanted to give everyone kind of like a little participator challenge and something that you can walk away with and bring to your classroom tomorrow to kind of steal from Mr. Nesi's podcast, The House of Ed Tech. So our challenge to you guys is to thank a coworker to foster that positive climate and culture. That's something really small. Oh, hey, Chris. That's something really small that I think everyone can manage to do in the next week. And it makes you feel good. It makes the other person feel good. And really looking for those things to compliment about people will really start to kind of shift not only our mindset or your mindset, but I think everyone else's too, hopefully. Do you guys have anything to add to that?
I'll jump in.
I think you nailed it.
Oh. I was going to say, it's not that hard. I mean, whether it's a custodian, just somebody in your school who deserves thanks. If it's another colleague, thank them for maybe they shared a lesson plan or a resource with you. And I would say that if you want to take it to the next level, do it as a handwritten note. Stick it in their mailbox. How often do you get a nice handwritten note?
Actually, that's a great point. One thing that we do at our staff meetings is we have, I don't even remember what it's called, but we have shout outs that are anonymous that people write down, and the assistant principal reads about 10 of them off every single meeting. And he'll say, so here's an award for Adam Schoenbart for picking me up when my car broke down, like something random but small, and giving people acknowledgement for doing small things that really help to make a big difference, even if it's outside of school. So I think that's a really good way to foster that positivity that we're all talking about.
One of my best friends at work, my friend Tina, one thing that she does that I've been noticing a lot of is she says hi to everyone we pass. And she's another one of the coaches, so we walk around the school a lot together. And she knows everybody by name, no matter if they are a teacher, a TA, a custodian, or support staff, everybody. And she says hi to everybody. And it's made me realize that I don't. And it's made me realize how much better her relationships are with people that I genuinely might not know their names and definitely should, that like it's blown my mind, and that's something that's really stuck with me lately, of building the positivity in such an easy and human way that we should all really be doing. I want to be better at that.
Yeah, I agree with you about that, Adam. My supervisor is really good about knowing personal facts, like family things about a lot of our colleagues. And he does it not just on a school level, but on a district level. And we're in 10, we have 10 different buildings. And he'll walk up in any building and be like, hey, how's it going? How's so-and-so? And it's, like a kid or a wife or, just another family member. And I just marvel at his ability to remember all of that information. But I think when we build those personal relationships, it's easier to talk about other things as well. Like to make that shift professionally.
Quick shout out to a good internet friend of mine, and you guys know him, Derek Larson.
Derek!
What's up, Derek?
Hi, Derek.
The other thing I was going to say about the if you go the handwritten note, you could have a little fun and put in, your secret, sign your secret admirer. You're doing a great job.
You could add a fun little sketch.
Oh, yeah. Draw a little picture. Make it a cryptogram. Like, but Adam, what you were saying about, saying hi to people, start doing, do it to kids. Just hi, good morning. Smile. You throw a smile in, you're going to blow people's minds.
Have you guys seen that 30-day happy teacher challenge?
No.
It was out in the beginning of January.
In a sentence.
What's that?
I didn't know that those were words you could put together in a sentence. Happy.
Yeah, so it's like little things like exactly what we're saying though. Like write your custodian a thank you note and leave it in the classroom. Smile at a kid who's having a rough day. Acknowledge a student for working hard. Someone who doesn't normally get that that accolade.
I love that idea. If you find a link or a resource to that, will you drop it in here?
Got it. Already, I'm doing it right now.
Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it was something that one of our teachers shared, and I printed it out, and I've been crossing it off. So she did it only for the month of January, but I still have a couple of days to finish up. I kind of fell off the bandwagon, but there are some really good ways to show your gratitude and just kind of make work a better place.
I like it.
So what do you guys think? Have we come to the end of the first shift ed?
I think we have.
Covered our agenda.
All right, let's put a bow on this bad boy. So we have our homework. Stacey, can you recap? Not the homework. Can you recap what we're asking people to do before the next time we do this?
What we're asking people to do before the next time. We're asking them to... Am I supposed to be reading from a document, Christopher?
I got this for you.
Thanks, Dani.
No problem. So we are asking everyone to thank a coworker, either in a handwritten note, face-to-face, in an email, hopefully face-to-face, so it's more personal. What'd you say?
Skywriting.
Skywriting. Yeah, some kind of award to whoever finds the most extreme way to thank a coworker.
Balloons.
Make cookies.
If you do something really extreme, like it amazes me, Dani will send you a whole pile of official exclusive stickers from our sponsor, the EduCal.
That is an excellent prize.
Like skywriting, I want to see.
Wait, what is Dani
going to send them calendar stickers? Exclusive, brand new batch. We just got new ones in, and it will be a great gift for you. But I want to see like skywriting, balloons, maybe a cake, something impressive.
Stickers and pancakes.
Ooh,
no.
Never believe her when she talks about pancakes, ladies and gentlemen.
Really do your thank a coworker. Let's get the positive culture and climate going in all of our schools, and then we'll come back next week and talk about how that went.
Awesome. So everybody, if you've had a good time and you feel inspired and you've enjoyed tonight's conversation, click tweet one more time, spread the word, talk about the questions, and start to also spread the idea of shift ed in your PLN. And if you want to blog about it, post a YouTube video about it, knock yourself out. How can we spread this and get people talking and being positive? That's the whole idea. For now, this is going to be a 30-minute blab chat conversation. We're we're hoping. I believe, guys, we're going to come back next Tuesday.
Let's do it.
Yeah, that is the hope. Oh, wait, I won't be here. It's my 30th birthday, so I will not be around, but I'll be there in spirit.
Oh, to be 30 again. Can we not do it on Tuesdays? I know it sounds really silly.
All right, so Tuesdays may change. So keep an eye on our Twitters, which we will share in a second. And add, if you're using TweetDeck or however you manage Twitter, add the hashtag ShiftEd to your column and your search. And then you can follow the conversation outside this conversation, and all will be good. So let's take it around the horn, and let's say goodbye. Stacey, where can we connect with you?
Bye, everyone. You can find me at iRunTech on Twitter. Pretty much iRunTech everywhere. And then my blog is iruntech.me. Chris?
I was going to go last.
Whatever. Adam?
You can find me on Twitter at Mr. Schoenbart, my blog at aschoenbart.com, and our sponsor, theeducationcalendar.com. Dani?
I was waiting for that. I thought you might forget
I
about
knew
me.
it. I knew you were.
You can find me at DaniKennis.com or at KennisDani on Twitter or theeducationcalendar.com. And I believe that is it. Chris?
Hold it. I wanted to give AJ a chance.
Oh, is he coming back?
All right. While we're waiting for AJ, another partner in crime on this project is Chrissy Romano. She's a middle school language arts literacy teacher and a presenter from New Jersey. She was instrumental in helping to plan this chat leading up to this, and she wasn't able to make it tonight. We forgive her. You can connect with Chrissy on her website, theconnectededucator.com, and please connect with Chrissy Romano on Twitter. Her username is theconnectededucator. AJ, say goodbye.
Hi, sorry, taking care of the children. Thanks to everybody for joining us tonight. You can catch me at AJ Bianco on Twitter. AJBianco.me is my blog. Hopefully a new blog will be coming this weekend. But everybody's kind of crazy, so things get busy. But I'll try to have one up there.
Awesome. And I'm Chris Nesi from the House of EdTech podcast, chrisnesi.com, on Twitter at Mr. Nesi. And thank you guys for coming. We had a great time, and we're looking forward to shifting it next time.